All right, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about grouping objects together and how you can kind of create a bunch of objects that are of a similar type or not a similar type, but you want them to be kind of moved around easier or to be able to handle them easier. You can put them into groups. So I just created this little example here with a bunch of different objects. It's kind of maybe more like a sort of hallway, just basic hallway I just made that you might have a display in. So this is just kind of an example to show some objects here. So I have over here, if I zoom into this one, I have just a TV monitor with a piece of truss and a little covering the front. And these are all separate objects, but I just went ahead and grouped them all together. Over here I have some scenery elements that are made up of a bunch of pieces. So if I look in here, I have a separate piece for each one. And then I also have some lights inside of them as well as outside of them. And if I move them around, they're all grouped together and I can control them a little bit easier. And then finally, I have some lighting that makes changing lighting a little bit easier. So if I select these lights on the bottom, I have up lights and down lights here, and I can adjust the color, the intensity of all of them at once. I could also duplicate things a lot easier. So if I wanted to make like another one of these objects, I'm going to hold Alt and drag over, and now you can see I have another one of these, which is a little bit nicer and quicker to move things and create things. So I can do the same thing with this object here. Cool, so I'll show you how to kind of do this real quick with a couple examples here. So I also kind of grouped all this stuff as well, so you could even kind of duplicate a whole nother one of these if you wanted to. All right, so I would say probably the hardest one to put together is this one. Where grouping really comes in hand is scenery objects like this, where you want them all to be grouped, and then a lot of times lighting too. So this build feature here will automatically group things together. So if I create some scenery, like a bunch of tiles, and set the dimensions of them, it's going to group them all together automatically, which is really nice. It separates them and then into the right positions and then groups them. And to kind of unlock the group, so if I want to just select something in there, I'm going to unlock this group. So I'm just going to hit group unlock there. And now let's say I want to select all of the lights on the inside of these. I can go to my top view here by hitting 2 on my keyboard. I have these lights kind of angled this way right now, but either way, I could select all 3 of those lights and then just adjust the color, something like that if I wanted to, and then just lock them back up again. All right, cool. So that's how that works. I'll go ahead into this decor section and kind of quickly show you how to create a group like this. So some of these objects are already grouped, so you can kind of use templates if you want sometimes, like this. So these are atomic columns, and if I drag these out here, they're already grouped together, and then you could go in, if I unlock the group again, I could select all of these by clicking and dragging, and then just drag in a new tile, and it'll replace them all. But there are some objects that we have that don't have these kind of templates to them, and we are working on them. They do take a little time, so we're just in the meantime. So it's a good thing to know grouping anyway, so this is kind of how to do some of the stuff. So I'm going to go into this style tiles thing here, and let's grab like this one right here. So what I want to do is change the size of the snapping settings. You don't have to do it this way, but if you want it to be really precise, you can do it this way. So I'd go into settings and change it to inches. And for this specific tile, these style tiles, if you go on their website, they are 22 inches squared. So I'm going to set this snapping settings to 22 inches. And now when I hold Alt and drag, it's going to be the exact size that I need there. I believe this is probably too tall, so let me just do a smaller one here. If I want to drag or select them all, I need to kind of precisely click and drag along the actual tile here. All right, so from there, I'm going to hold Alt and drag again, and I'm just going to kind of quickly maneuver this thing so I'm not taking too much time here. From here, I'm actually going to change this to 11 inches, so half, because now if I move it back here, it's going to need to be in the right space there. And maybe I had that slightly wrong. Let's see, 11. Now if I rotate, actually I want to rotate it the other way. I think the reason that it's not exact as this specific tile. It puts this pivot point kind of off center a little bit. So for this one, I might have to maneuver it a little bit. So I'm just going to set the snapping to 0 and get it kind of close enough to where I want it. I think I'm going to, yeah, so for this one, I'll need to adjust it a little bit more custom instead of getting it exact with the numbers. All right, so I think hopefully you get the idea of this. You're just kind of moving it into position. And now what I'm going to do is select them all by clicking and dragging like this, and then I'll select them all, and then I'll hit group. I am going to go ahead real quick and add a light in there. So this second up light here has an adjustable cone, which is a little bit nicer. So I'm going to throw that in there, and maybe, well, I'll just leave the color for now. Select all of them and then hit group. All right, so that's a quick example of how to do that. Now you see you got this cool object here. If I duplicate it, I can do kind of anything with it. A thing to notice is, or to note, I guess, as well is, so if I just duplicate this one once, it only duplicates that group. But if I shift and select both of them and then try to duplicate both of them, what's going to happen is it's going to put both of these into a group. So now you see if I click on one, they're both groups. So that's definitely an important thing to note. If you don't want like two groups, maybe you're grouping a bunch of tables together, something like that, and you only want to group like one at a time. You just want to make sure to not group two at a time, because it will put both of those groups into a group, if that makes sense. Cool, so now we got these cool pillars here. I'm just going to kind of push them out of the way for the moment. And from here, let's see, lights are definitely a big thing. So if I were to drag out, let's say I wanted to add, actually I'll bring these guys back in here. Let's say I wanted to add a uplight to the front or something. And again, maybe I have a few of these. What I'm going to do is just really quickly go light. Actually, I'll just do this. And I could, if I wanted to keep these separate, maybe I'll select, click and drag across these guys and group those. And now when I click them, I can change all their color at once and select them really quickly and easily. It's definitely a huge improvement on like speed and just ease of use when you start grouping things together. And again, we try to like group things automatically for you with the build feature, which is what makes this using this feature a little bit quicker. But once you're starting to do kind of, add custom things or do something that hasn't been created yet or something, then you might need to start grouping things individually like this. All right, and yeah, so that's kind of that. I'll just show you in the scene again. So you have these lights that are grouped together. Again, different types of objects can be grouped together. So you got like, this is just a basic shape that's covering this, truss, base, truss, a TV. And again, if I go into selection here, I can click group lock and that'll unlock it. And then if I go and lock it again, it's going to be locked. And then if I want to make a big adjustment to this, so a lot of times if I were to like, let's say I duplicated this truss piece and then I lock this group again, this truss piece is no longer a part of that group. So if you want it to be a part of the group, what you need to do is unlock the whole group basically and create another one. So this you have to do every now and then if you're trying to add something to the group. You just need to ungroup and then regroup. So for whatever reason, let's say I wanted this to be part of it, I would just go back in here, select them all, and then group them again. And now they're all grouped together. And we'll just get rid of that guy. And yeah, so that's how that all works. As always, let us know if you have any questions. And if you're wanting to learn more about anything really, head over to our website. You can schedule either a little training session or a demo if you have any questions that can tend to help learn about all the different things that you can do within this. So hopefully that helps, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.